Guys, we are back in the garage. A little bit since the last time we did a pretty significant installation project. I don't even remember what the last biggest one was, but we got these soul function braces to install now. I hope you guys saw the unboxing video, and if you did, you obviously have an idea what we're working with today. These are the soul function chassis braces. We have the 4-point M brace, and then the lateral braces here. These go underneath the car, essentially connecting the cross member to the frame rails, and these sort of are installed adjacent to where this is installed, just providing some additional lateral support. Again, these are from Soul Function. These purchased through Concept Z Performance, where I think you can get a little bit better deal. I actually think Soul Function, their website, is out of stock. Concept Z got these to me in just a couple of days. They are aircraft grade aluminum. They're hollow with I-beam support throughout. So they're supported internally as well to give it some, just give it some additional support and robustness. They're relatively low profile, so they don't add a lot of depth to the underside of the car. You don't have to worry about clearance issues and things of that nature. Again, aircraft grade aluminum, so very, very light. This whole box with everything in it, including hardware, was 13 pounds, shipped from UPS. So, this brace itself is probably right around 10 pounds or so, and maybe between the two of them, maybe 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds. So not much additional weight either, and you're adding some substantial rigidity to your vehicle. And knowing that the Q50 is a big, heavy car, and if you do any twisty roads or any competitive driving, track days or autocross events, adding some stiffness to the chassis is going to be essential, keeping your tires planted firmly on the pavement. So I'm looking forward to getting these installed. Let's get the car up on jack stands and see what we're dealing with. One thing I wanted to do is take this little aluminum U-bracket out of here, since it's not being utilized. It's just 2 bolts, so I'm gonna take those off. The brace will clear this and it won't be an issue, but I'm just gonna take it off just for cleanliness purposes. That's out, just a couple 15mm bolts, which comes right out. You can get it without taking down the shield here, but it does help just to drop it down. We have a little bit of extra room under here. I'm gonna do the lateral braces first. It's very, very late at night, so I'm hoping I don't need the impact gun, because that's quite loud, so we'll see what we can do tonight. We have for hardware here for the lateral braces is a couple of longer, they must be about 2-inch 16mm bolts, and then they have 14mm nuts on the end, and then we have 2 shorter 16mm bolts, and we'll see where they mount to exactly under here. By the looks of it, they should go in this region. I'm wondering, this is a full pass-through hole, so I wonder if it mounts there. Let's see. So just looking around under here, there's a threaded hole right here, which is going to give you a little perspective of the edge of the car. This is passenger side threaded hole. And then there's a pass-through on the cross member right here. And if you hold this up, it lines up perfectly. You can use either one of these in this location. If you use the other one, the Soul Function nameplate will be facing the other direction, obviously. I guess who cares really, but I want it facing this way because I want to read it as I get under the car from this direction. So this is the way it's going to go. This is where the shorter bolt goes, and then you obviously pass the bolt through, and then tap the nut on the other side. Simple. Obviously just put the bolt up through the top, tighten the nut on the top side, tighten this down again, 16mm, 14mm nut. Simple. So one little problem, I don't know if the bolt provided is slightly too long, or that might be the case, but with just the one washer that they provide with this bolt, you can't get it tight enough. This bracket will slip and slide around. I actually had to use 3 washers. So luckily I had a much larger one, which you can see up there toward the top. That will actually help distribute the force and the pressure that this bolt head has on the brace itself. So I actually kind of like having a much larger additional washer in there, and then another one to fill up some space, and then the washer that they provided. And that was able to get it nice and torqued down so it is firm. Tightened up the nut and bolt on the other side as well. So bracket number 1 is done. Getting ready to do the driver's side now. This is the assembly of washers that's required, at least that I required in order to get this tight. So the first washer is just a small washer that I have, had in my hardware bin. The middle washer is the one provided by Sole Function, and then this larger washer is just another one that I've had. And the 3 of them together fit nicely. It's not ideal, but we had to fill about that much space in order to get the bolt tight. Both sides in. Gotta say, they look pretty sick. Can't wait to find out if they actually do anything or not. Guys, I'm ready to move on to the 4-point-M bracket, but the one thing I was not anticipating was having to use these stupid rivet nuts. Ugh. If you guys have been following along, you have to do this when you install the Z1 Motorsports aluminum undershroud. Well, those are smaller rivets. These are pretty substantial. And they lay on your back and try to hold these up in a hole and crank them down with enough force to actually crush the rivets themselves. It's quite a task, and it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not sure it's a task I want to take on tonight. But I want to get under the car with this brace and see exactly where it lines up and see what we're going to have to do with these suckers. Fortunately, there's no instructions included with the brace. And when you do the little scan on the rivet nut package, it takes you to a video that is not good for installation. It's hard to see anything. It's hard to really tell what the guy's doing.
So I have to put the bolt back on this. It's gonna bolt. I'm gonna be underneath the car bolting these in. I didn't bolt these in yet. Sorry, my undercarriage is really dirty.
He keeps calling a bolt, and it's just... So I'm test fitting this underneath and making sure the holes line up, which now I've found the holes that they do mount to. But one thing I'm noticing is there's a bit of a rock to it. When I set it up in place, it's tight in 3 of the corners, and the other I'm going to have to force up into place. And I'm not sure I like that, to be honest. But we'll just tighten all the bolts gradually and see what happens. It's just a concern of mine up front. So the Sole Function 4-point-M brace looks really cool underneath the car. The holes do line up, but we have a problem. Now, they do state that this works with aftermarket exhausts, and it does not. We still have maybe a 1/4 inch gap, and we are already up tight against the resonator section of this test pipe. So you can see I can't get it. So, well, I guess we're not going to be able to complete this installation because it doesn't fit. I didn't intend on only installing the lateral braces from Sole Function, but that's all we got to, not because we ran out of time, not because we didn't have the resources, but there was a slight issue with them that I got to talk to Sole Function about. I'll follow up about that in the coming days, but until then, go ahead and get yourself some of these lateral braces. They're very, very easy to install. They're relatively inexpensive. All you need is a basic socket and wrench, and maybe a couple extra washers. You saw a little bit of the fitment issue too with those, which is what I'm going to also talk to Soul Function about. So we'll get out and test them. This might be a good opportunity to check out the feeling of the car with just the lateral braces installed, but I'm not sure of the impact that they'll have on their own. It may be one of those situations where it's actually providing the support, you just can't feel it, which is totally okay. I'll definitely be sure to report back, but until then I got a lot of work to do with the other vehicles today. Sort of a maintenance weekend, but I have a part coming for the Explorer, which I'm excited to do a little installation on. Any questions about the lateral brace installation, please leave them in the comment section below. Definitely try to help you out as best I can, but again, very simple, very straightforward installation, despite the fact that they don't come with instructions or like a parts list. You just kind of get a little bag of hardware and you're told to install it. But thankfully it's very, very simple. They only fit really in one direction on either side of the car. You really can't mess it up. So good luck to you. But again, any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate the continued support. More things to come for the channel. We'll see you in the next one.